Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 6. Trevor Reed, an American imprisoned in Russia for nearly 3 years, is finally on his way home.
And while his homecoming is being celebrated, 2 more Americans are still sitting in Russian jails. Phoenix Mercury Center Brittney Griner has been detained since February, and former Marine Paul Whelan since 2018.
In our big story tonight, Team 12's Josh Sanders spoke with a foreign relations expert on how the war in Ukraine may impact their future releases.
To indicate possible more future swaps, I think is a good sign.
The surprise prisoner exchange between U.S. and Russian officials of Marine veteran Trevor Reed and a convicted Russian drug trafficker serving time in the U.S., a good sign for U.S.-China foreign relations expert Wei Fengchun.
It's very complicated, but it's often done during wartime, Cold War for sure as well.
Reed has been in a Russian prison since 2019, with reports he had signs of tuberculosis and no access to medical care.
Priority was the safe return of Trevor Reed, knowing not only that he'd been held against his will for far too long, but that his health condition required urgent treatment.
Brittney Griner has been in a Russian jail since February for allegations of drug trafficking, her team keeping her front of mind.
It's part of who we are this season, and we're just keeping all of our thoughts and prayers with BG.
Russian officials claim they found cannabis vape cartridges in her luggage, and former Marine Paul Whelan has been detained since 2018, accused of being an American spy. So why did the U.S. government only complete the exchange for Reed?
It really comes down to the cost and benefit analysis of whether this is a worthwhile deal. There's no shortage of people that the U.S. government could give up in exchange for that. But I think a lot has to be considered whether, what kind of message you're going to send out by choosing certain people rather than others.
The Biden administration said the prisoner exchange for Reed was a nonviolent offender who had nearly completed his sentence. Wei Fengchun says Reed's release should not factor into the U.S.'s stance on the war in Ukraine, but could play into why he was released over Griner and Whelan.
One exchange might indicate more to come, and I think that would be a good thing. And doesn't necessarily mean that the U.S. would go soft on Russia.
So what about their release?
When it comes to Brittney Griner, we are working very closely with her team. We will continue to pay very close attention to this case to seek its resolution as we seek the release of Paul Whelan.
Josh Sanders, 12 News.
All right, Josh, thank you.